is Mr. Sasa and I'm here today to do Toriko chapter 359 review. Now, this chapter of Toriko is very simple. It's mainly about Ichiryu and his relationship with Dawn's Line and the battle between Dawn's Line and Neo and Cassia taunting Dawn's Line. That's basically all there is in this chapter. So let's start with the first thing, the relationship between Dawn's Line and Ichiryu. First of all, Dawn's Line chose Ichiryu because he was already in the Blue Grill. He was in everyone in the Blue Grill when he met Ichiryu. That's what I believe after reading this chapter. And he chose Ichiryu because of his potential. Of course, Ichiryu didn't knew about gourmet demons at the beginning, but Dawn's Line explained everything to him. Dawn's Line even explained to him that he's the king of the universe. He had no name. Dawn's Line had no name. He was simply the king of the universe. It was Ichiryu who named Dawn's Line. He told his name was Slime. Of course, he didn't like it because he was royalty, and then he put Dan in front of it, so it would sound more royal. So it was Ichiryu who named him, and it didn't take at the beginning, but he slowly got used to it. And also Ichiryu, even though Dawn's Line always told him eat as much as you can, lose yourself in your basic instincts, eat everything, because a human life is fleeting. Even 1,000 years, even if you eat ingredients that will support your body for 1,000 years. For a gourmet demon who lives billions of years, because Dawn's Line has billions of years, for a gourmet demon those 1,000 years are but a fleeting moment in time. And creatures that live so little should indulge themselves. They should eat everything regardless. They shouldn't have any care in the world because their life is so fleeting that why worry? That's basically what Dawn's Line thought at the moment. And he never understood Ichiryu's sentiments, why he was full with only eating a bowl of beans, or just by sitting at a meal with his brothers, or just by helping other people. And it was later in life, when Ichiryu was already oldish, let's say oldish, that Ichiryu told him, well, my deepest, greatest desire is to eat with everyone at the same table, everyone on this planet. That is my greatest, deepest desire. Not to find some sort of ingredient or anything. So you could say that I have been fulfilling my desire all my life, because that's why he became head of the IGO. So he could feed more people to gather ingredients that normal people could not gather. So Ichiryu, that's the moment when Dawn's Line understood that Ichiryu, he needed something else to fill his appetite. His appetite was not for food, his appetite was for compassion, let's say compassion, because I don't want to call it love, because he had compassion for people that he never met, but yeah, it's compassion. So his appetite was filled by compassion, something that Dawn's Line never encountered before. So that's basically when Dawn's Line started to get a new view on the universe, and that view was simply to use your power for something else than feeding yourself. Because Dawn's Line may be the king of the universe, he may be the most powerful gourmet demon, but if he's alone, if he always rules alone, he has the power but he doesn't do anything with the power but eat for himself, then it doesn't make any sense, at least in Ichiryu's view. So that's when Dawn's Line realized that he could use his power for something else. He could use his powers to help people, to make other people achieve heights that he could normally do but other people could not. And that's when he started the Blue Grill project to make the dishes of Acacia, God, News, and all the others. That's when he did all that. Now, in his fight with Neo in present time, Dawn's Line is taunting Neo, because Dawn's Line is telling Neo, did Acacia ever call your name even once? Does Acacia even know your name? Does he even care about you? And this is what I speculated in the last chapter, that Acacia is going to be the final villain of the show. I even have a discussion on this. Acacia is going to be the final villain of the show. And I was right, because it seems that Neo is just a means to an end. Neo is driven by his endless appetite, but nothing more than that. He has no intricate plans, he has nothing. He's driven by his appetite. but we see Cassia in this chapter appearing out of Neo, and Cassia seems to be controlling Neo, or at least they seem to be on par. And Cassia, you can bet your ass that he has some sort of devious plan going for the universe. So Cassia might be the final villain of the show, because the way he taunts Don's line, telling him that he's weak, very weak, because he has feelings. In this universe, there's no need for feelings. The only feeling that you need to have is your appetite, the feeling of hunger. That's the only feeling that is useful. Other feelings just fall short. And the way that he's telling Don's line that he's weak because he cared about Ichiryu, and Ichiryu was weak because he cared only about other people more than he cared about himself. And Don Slime just goes berserk because he says Ichiryu was never weak. Ichiryu had some convictions, and he stood by his convictions all his life. I could never budge him. No one could ever budge him. Not even Midora, not even on his deathbed. And we see pictures. When Midora killed Ichiryu, Don's line was near Ichiryu, and Don's line was telling Ichiryu, please use my powers because you will die. And Ichiryu told him, shut up, this is the path that I choose. So not even then did he falter from his convictions. He stood by his convictions all his life and in his death. And Don Slime could not convince him of anything. So that's the reply of Don Slime towards Cassia, that Ichiryu was not weak. But in Cassia's eyes, Ichiryu was weak because he cared about feelings that should not have been there in the first place. The only feeling is hunger. And at the end of the chapter, we see Don Slime charging in, and he's using a fork and a knife, which is very reminiscent of Toriko, because Toriko uses forks and knives. So is that a hint that Toriko could surpass Don Slime? Maybe, who knows? At this point, who knows? But Don Slime is charging in, and he's saying, I'm counting on you, Authority, to hold on, because without Ichiryu's body, Don Slime cannot use his full force, because the cells of Asarudi would just disintegrate, and he's counting on this body to last a little more, so he can buy some time a little more. And as I said before, I said that the Cassia is going to be the final villain of the show, and I stand by that, and I said that Don Slime is not going to be able to defeat the Cassia because his body would give out, and the ones who will have to defeat the Cassia are Toriko and the 4 Heavenly Kings. With that being said, that is the chapter. Rate, comment, subscribe, tell me your opinions, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a nice day.
Any rational society would either kill me or put me to some use.